So another issue on this 4Runner is the tire monitor light is on, which says that I have a low tire. So I did what anybody would do, and I went around and put air in all the tires, and I actually did 35 psi in each tire, and it didn't shut off. So then I was told that the spare tire actually has a sensor in it as well. So let me show you that. All right, I'm underneath the truck now. Here's the spare tire. So I thought, do I want to lower this down, just put air in it? So I checked it, and it's definitely low on air. I can push it with my hand. So I went and filled it up with air, and the bead started pouring out right here. So there's probably a leak in this rim. I looked over here, and this is a pretty old tire, I think. This date code says 2208, which is probably the 22nd week of 2008. There's also a 3205, so I don't know which one to look at, but this wouldn't make sense because it's a 2004 truck. But here's the problem. I was going to get the tire fixed, and the hoist cable is completely rotted, rusted, stuck, like the rest of this truck. So I went inside the trunk, and luckily there were all the tools here. Sorry if you can't see real good, the lighting's not great. So I got my tool bag here, and see, I'll open it up. It's got all the tools in it. Great, perfect, I thought. So I'm going to take out the ones to turn this hoist down, and there's a little axis right here where you push this into there, and you can hear it grinding in there. Hold on, let me get that in there. Hoist wrench is in there, and it doesn't matter which way I turn it, nothing happens. So how am I going to do this now? Do I just leave it like this and hope that I never get a flat tire? The only thing I can think of doing, I can either grind this thing off, which would be really difficult because it's pretty thick. But what I'm going to do is there's a cable that goes up through here. The only other option is to take a Sawzall and try and cut that out. The problem is this spring is under tension, and as soon as that cable's cut, this thing's going to launch. I can put a jack underneath the tire to stop that, but I don't know how I'm going to stop this spring from just taking off on me. So let me see what I can do. I'm going to first get a jack. All right, so here's my solution. Cinder block with a jack underneath the spring, which put tension on the spring. That spring is going to stay tension. I'm going to take a Sawzall and cut the cable, which I can just barely reach. So I'm going to use a long bimetal blade on the end of a Sawzall. That's the only way I think I can get to it. And then I'm hoping that once the cable's cut, this is going to keep the tire and everything up in the air. And then when the cable's cut, I'll slowly lower this down. Now, there's probably going to be a lot of weight, and I'll have to move all this stuff out of the way, and it's going to be a messy thing, but that's the only solution I came up with. So let's see how it goes. Right, so this might get a little noisy. I was just making sure that this spring is no longer, it won't move at all. Everything's pushed up. The truck's actually lifted a little bit. It's pushing so hard, and I got to get high enough up there. Let me see. Now that should do it right there to get that spring. And then let me put some ear protection on, some face shield on. And let's see what this does here. Let me see if we just went through already. It looks like it cut some of them. Oh, no, it cut one band of them. There's still another band. Now it cut it all the way through. Now I'm going to lower this down, so hopefully the spring doesn't shoot out. All right. There, tire's all the way down, and so it's kind of welded itself to there. Let me grab a hammer and knock that out. All right, just gonna knock this out. That was easy. Thought it was gonna be harder than that. Move the tire. All right, so there's the assembly, and that worked out really well. So in the next video, I'll have to show how we're going to take this thing out, but right now we couldn't have used a spare tire anyway. So some of you might be thinking, hey, you busted that all up. So this is the assembly right here, the hoist. So when you buy this, it just comes with this assembly right here and this little piece sticking out. This stays in the vehicle, but this is what's supposed to spin right here. And you can't really get to it when your tire's in the way, but you could possibly manually turn this if there's no tire. But there's a bolt here and a bolt here, and they're virtually impossible to get to. So what I'm going to try and do is cut off this ear here and the ear over there, drop this out of the way, and try and spin the ears. The other solution is to put a notch right here and use a screwdriver to turn these out, but either way, it's not an easy task. So I'll start that in a little bit. Thanks for watching. Okay, I can just barely get a socket up inside here, and you can barely get the wrench. There's barely enough room to get it in there. The other problem is I've tried a 14, I've tried a 13, I've tried a 12. The 14 slips on it because there's so much rust buildup. The 13 doesn't fit on it, and the 12 doesn't fit on it. So I think the only way I'm going to do this, I'm going to actually take a pair of channel locks and grab these and try and screw it backwards. I know that might mess up these threads, but if I can at least break it free. So I'm going to heat this up first, see if I can get it to move. Maybe put a notch in it, but let me first heat it up. All right, let me get the heat going. Thing's plastic too, so it's going to start on fire. Try to keep the heat away from that plastic as I can. I'm going to just try and get this Volt cherry, and then try and back it out. is cut this thing, torch it. This truck's got a lot of rust. That's Michigan. And not washing your vehicle. Alright, let me grab the channel locks. Okay, plan is to grab it with the channel locks and try and twist it. But I don't really have much leverage on these. And I don't even know if they're going to grab this. Might have them too tight. Yeah, I don't think these are going to move. Yeah, that might not work. All right, I got to get some leverage. Let me heat this up a little more. All right, this time I'm going to get this really hot on the outside, hoping to create a space for this thing to turn. And I've been heating this up for about a minute and a half. It's just MAP gas. That thing's pretty hot. Get 2 hands on it. This thing isn't coming off, and the Metabo blade I have is just too big to fit in here. I just can't find an angle. Maybe that angle, and that will be the last resort. But what I'm thinking of, this bolt is just, there's a hole in the top and it only screws into this. So if I can cut this here and here, break this piece off, this will just drop out. So what I'm thinking of doing is taking this multi-tool and doing that. So I'm gonna turn this off so I don't have to hear it all and put in my earmuffs. Okay, that's as much as I can get it. I tried the multi-tool here. It just wasn't doing anything. So I hit it with the Metabo here. I'm gonna try and take a chisel and bust this thing out and see if it's weak enough right now to where it will both break free. I just want you to see how nice and rusted this truck is. So what happens when I even touch it with a hammer? Ridiculous. Ugh. If I hit right here with a hammer, it just rains down. Ugh. So it's going to take some time to get plastic out of here. I hope that's not another bolt. I think it is. I think it is. I hope these 2 bolts have nothing to do with this. I don't think they do. No, they don't. I think there's a big hole up here. It's just this bolt and this bolt. So I'm going to keep cutting away until that thing's gone. Okay, I'm continuing to cut. I cut a little bit more, and this is like pulling out a tooth. And whether this problem is only half the battle. All right, that tooth is out. Let's see if it comes out away from there. I think it's free. Can't tell. I'm gonna get a punch. I'm gonna get a punch and punch that thing out. I think it's free. Got a punch. Let me see if I can. Bolts broke off there. Scared to swing too hard. I guess it's not broke free. The tooth is off, but let me try and work on the other side, and then maybe I can rock it back and forth and break it loose. This piece stays on here though. I don't know if it's, I think it's, yeah, it is wrapped around here. So when this stuff breaks off, this should be loose too. And you must have to tuck it up under there and bolt this on. So let me do that. Okay, this other side, there's a little bit more room to get a Metabo in here. I cut the bolt off, but I'm trying to cut underneath it to get it to move back and forth. And I'm planning on just hitting this with a hammer, trying to rock it, break it off these. You can see this one's just barely hanging on. There's maybe a thread or two. So I guess it all has to do with what kind of tools you have. All right, this is without plastic on it. I just peeled the plastic off. There was some plastic held around here. This whole thing wants to move. I don't know, maybe these other 4 screws are holding this thing on. That would be a lot of screws holding this together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws? Really? No way. I can't believe it. I think that's the case. I think there are 6 screws. They really didn't want this thing ever to fall. I think that's kind of overkill. And the problem is I can't get to any of these because they're so rusted. Let me see if this will even reach. No, can't even get it. Can't even get a socket on here. Are you kidding me? No. I think you have to get these outer ones off to get this piece out of the way. Then you get to these other 4, which is just ridiculous. I think you're better off just cutting this whole thing out, cutting these welds off this bracket, taking the whole thing down, putting this on, and then welding it back up. Or going to a junkyard and getting one that's already welded. I don't know. That much work. Let me look at it. Okay, I'm on to a drill bit next because I can't get this thing out of here. So let's see what this does, if anything. This drill bit has already been overheated once. Let me grab a different one. All right, let me try this one. one side off. There's the top of this. All right. Let me see what size this is. It's not a 14. Where's my other bit? It is a 12. It is a 12. I couldn't even get it in there though. So that means these other ones are 12s. Let me drill out this other one. This thing's super sharp now that I cut it. It's up here. I gotta get. All right, let's see here. See if I can get this other side. 2 weeks later. You know what I would suggest? I would suggest you put the rear tire on the roof or on the back door. It's just isn't worth it. This is insanity. Still not even drilled out yet. I'm a dentist. Got some major cavities. Oh my God. I think I'm on 2 drill bits. Let's see. Oh my God. Oh, that felt good. Hopefully I got that on video. Oh. Glad I got glasses on. All right, so here's this piece that's in your way, and that's out of the way. And now we got access to the 12mm bolts. So let's see if I can get those out of here. Got so lucky that didn't cut my face open. See if any of these bolts move. Oh, they give you so much room in here. Heck no, there's so much rust on the top of here. No, no way. Can't even get a wrench on this. No. I can't believe they put 4 more bolts. 6 bolts to hold a tire on. The same amount that are holding it onto the truck. Just to hold it up in the air. Kidding me, Toyota? Really? You never thought these things would fail, huh? No. I can't get a 12mm to go on there. Where's that other bolt? Right here. Yeah, it's got so much rust on it. This has so much rust on it, you can't get the wrench around it. Where's my hammer? All right, I beat the rust off of it. Still doesn't fit. Rust of there. Get a socket on it. I mean, you can barely get a socket even up here. Ooh, ooh. No. No. And actually, these don't even look that rotted. Let me get a closer look here. These actually don't look so bad. Maybe I can take my camera and put it up there. It doesn't even matter. These bolt heads are just so rusted. They've got rust on top of them. You can't get a wrench on them. I do have some met wrenches though, but is this thing really worth taking off? I doubt it. I just can't believe they had 3 bolts on both sides. I thought it was just going to be that bolt and this bolt and the whole thing dropped down. I never thought it would be 6 bolts. So let me see if an open-end wrench can get in there. I just want to show you what the playground looks like I've been in. So this is all the, let me get this light out of the way. Show you how much corrosion came off of here. This is the debris pile. Trying to get this thing off. Just ridiculous amount of corrosion on this thing. So I'm gonna start cleaning up, and I'll try the open-end wrench first. All right, good news. Since this was all covered with plastic and protected, I actually can turn it by fingers, but I messed up the threads by getting upset and beating the crap out of it, so it's probably not going to go past that point. Yeah, it stops right there. So let me try and get that one out. That's 1 loose, 3 to go. All right, we're back to the torch on this other one. It won't move, so I'm hoping I can heat it up and get it to move. So we got 1 bolt out. That only took, well, we actually got 3 bolts out, and that only took 2 hours, but I only got 3 left. So we'll see if we can make better progress. All right, let me see if I can get this one to break free. See. And the only way you can get this with an open-end wrench, a box end, whatever, and it's a 12mm, and it broke free. Heat worked. The heat worked again. Oh, sorry about all my voices. I'm losing it here. This has been a long project. All right, let me get this one out. Only 2 bolts left to get off this tire hoist carrier. And the problem I'm having is the 12mm socket will not go on here because there's so much rust. It's built up. So what I've been doing is trying to just break it off. And it just won't go on there. I can't get it on either way. If I try to put a bigger wrench, oh, it felt like it had it there. Nope. I'm gonna grab a different wrench. See if I can get in there, and that's the last 2 bolts, and the carrier will be off. All right, I heated this one up, and I had to find some weird wrench. It's actually 11mm, 7/16. It's a met wrench, and it doesn't really go on all the way, but it was enough to break this one free. And it's really hard to get it to move with this wrench because the box end on it doesn't fit it. So I'm going to get this one out, and then we'll be down to one bolt. So I can't get anything on this one. It's like it's super rounded off, rusted. I can't get any wrenches on it. So what I'm thinking is, since it's got to turn left, if I turn this right by hitting it, maybe I can break the bolt free. I don't know. They're not ideas. That's as far as it'll go. If I work it back and forth, maybe. Oh, that might be challenging. Let me see if that'll come off now. Oh, this is really tough. I'm hoping I can heat it up and get it to move freely. That's the only other thing I can think of, and rock this back and forth. We'll try it. Let me see if... All right, looks like it's loosening. All right. I might have gotten it. All right, let's see. Let's take this out. Got a few more turns to go. Problem is now it's super hot from heating it up. And it's just hanging on for dear life. And this thing's so rounded off, I can barely get it. Let's see. Oh, that thing's nice and hot. Oh my gosh. Great success. Okay. Finally got it off. So this right here, I was unaware that there were 6 bolts holding that thing on. So I don't know if I'm going to buy another one. They're about $150. I don't know, maybe. It'd be a nice place to put a tire. This is the aftermath of trying to get this tire carrier off. A lot of tools. Bright light. Come here, bright light. This is, I'm kind of wore out right now. This is what I have to deal with. I gotta clean up this mess. And that is how you cut down the tire on a 4Runner and remove the hoist carrier. So maybe you can find an easier way to do all this than what I did, and that would be great. But this is a teaching moment. I hope I never have to do one of these again. Oh wait, I have another 4Runner, and it has the same problem. Thanks for watching.